guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, then welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Titch92 and today's video was actually meant for Spooky Sundays, so I'm spending my Saturday trying to catch up because I'm actually a week behind on my videos. Because the Sunday that I was supposed to upload this video, I managed to get very bad sunburn. But anyway, I'm all healed and I'm feeling good now, so let's crack on. Today we are going to be looking at some Ouija board stories that I found on Reddit. However, before we get into the actual video, I have a couple of interesting facts that I wanted to share with you first. Did you know that Ouija boards were created by Hasbro Incorporated, which is the same company which brought you the beloved Furbies, Nerf, My Little Pony, and even Monopoly? And did you know also that the word Ouija means good luck in ancient Egyptian? If you did already know those facts, then I'm sorry, but I just found them really interesting, especially considering that a board that was originally sold as a children's game has now such a scary stigma with it, and it's actually sold by the same people that made Monopoly. Just mind-blowing. Now, let's get into some stories. I've only chosen a couple because they're quite long-winded, so make sure you get a snack and get comfy. So, the first story I found on Reddit is called Never Play with an Ouija Board, and this was posted by an anonymous person. Now, this first story actually happened in October 2004, but wasn't posted until 2018 on Reddit. And the Redditor goes to say, back when I was still a third-year high school student, my friends and I stuck around the school. Late at night after our annual Halloween party, we had agreed to try out my friend's Ouija board. It wasn't the brightest idea, but we needed a thrill. We found a nice spot under a huge Nara tree and proceeded with our half-assed ritual. There was 5 of us, 2 boys and 3 girls. We were expecting some kind of paranormal contact. Rumours had it our school was haunted, but we've never really experienced anything firsthand. And it was Halloween when all the spirits came out to play. We all wanted to get spooked. Also, we've never seen an Ouija board firsthand before, so we were all pretty excited. Our school was an old Spanish colonial house built in the 1800s when the Spaniards still occupied the Philippines. We were in a section of the school that doesn't get used often. Located beside a creepy old Jesuit house, people only go there when they needed the restroom, store equipment, one of the sheds, or to make out with their boyfriends or girlfriends. We sat down in the middle of an open space with only an exposed bare bulb nearby illuminating the surroundings. We were all having a laugh, scaring each other with what-if scenarios. It was your typical kids doing dumb things. My friend who bought the Ouija board proceeded to place it in the middle of our circle. If I remember correctly, it was a glow-in-the-dark version, which we found hilarious. But it gave us the ability to see what was being written in the dark. Not knowing what to do, and going after what we've seen in movies, we all proceeded to place our finger on the top of the planchette. We sat there looking at each other until one of us said, "What's next?" We didn't know if there was a proper way to start the ritual. Plus, the board didn't come with instructions, so we decided just to throw in a question. "Is anyone there?" I called out into the darkness. "If there are any spirits living here, please talk to us," one of the girls joined in. We clearly had no idea what we were doing. Still nothing, not even the slightest bit of wind. One of my friends jerked the planchette and the girl who bought the Ouija board screamed, breaking the silence. We all laughed at how ridiculous it was. After a bit of joking around, we decided to give it another go. We all placed our index fingers on the planchette once more and asked if there's anyone there. We would like to make contact. "Don't break the circle," one of my friends jokingly said. "Shut up," I whispered. We were just about ready to give up when the wind started to pick up. The stillness broke and the darkness around us seemed to move. Just a coincidence, we thought. "Okay, don't break the circle," I yelled out. Is anyone there? I was excited. It was like a scene from a movie with dirt and dead leaves swirling around us. Guys, I'm scared, my friend sitting beside me said. My mum warned me about playing with forces we don't know. Did you die here? Were you killed during the war? Are you the headless priest that roams these halls? Do you know Jose Rizal, our national hero? Are you a hottie? My friend giggled. At this point, we were throwing random stupid questions. Nothing. This is bull. I don't want to do this anymore, my friend said, exasperated. We were all thinking the same. Just then, a group of dogs from the neighbourhood started barking at us through the chain-link fence. These 6 dogs were growling and showing teeth. We all screamed and without finishing the ritual, bolted right out of there. We didn't see each other until after Halloween break, and this is where the story gets creepy. One of the girls told us about a weird experience she had the night after playing with the Ouija board. She had gotten home late after hanging out with her friends from the neighbourhood, when she realised she had forgotten her keys to her house. So she called her brother up, who was then still sharing a room with her, and what he said crept the hell out of her. He swore she was already home. He claimed to have seen her walk in a while ago, and that she looked really tired and saw her head straight to bed. Creepy, but no need to freak ourselves out, was all we thought. Besides, her brother must have been tired and seeing things. But then, my other friend started telling us about an encounter she had had that Halloween night. She was going up to her room when the light started flickering as she was ascending the staircase. Your typical horror visuals, shrug it off to faulty wiring. But then she saw the door to her room open and a dark figure stepped out and stood atop of the staircase. She couldn't make out the entity's face, but she recounted that she couldn't move and felt utter dread as the figure stared down at her. No way, my best friend said, who just joined in the conversation, in disbelief. Something happened to me as well. He recalled that he was sleeping one night when he woke up feeling really uncomfortable. He described his vision as having TV-like static, and a feeling of heaviness surrounded him. He looked around the room, and that's when he saw a bloody, charred face with piercing red eyes grinning at him through the window. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, because I'd had an almost run-in with death that night. After the ritual, I was sleeping in our sedan on the way home after fooling around with the Ouija board. When I felt our car jerk, I woke up instantly looking out the window. I found out that we'd been hit by a huge oil tanker. I panicked and leapt out of the car. Luckily, my mum and I survived the crash, since the front of our car was a total wreck. I still don't have an explanation as to why those things happened to us, but thank God nothing happened after that. I never played or have never gotten near an Ouija board ever since. And that is the end of story number 1. Now, story number 2 is called My Ouija Board Experience in Salem, Massachusetts. And this was submitted by Slaytanic667. And he writes as so. So, let me start off by saying, after using Ouija boards over the years, it's not a good idea to use one. You take extreme caution because they can be very dangerous. This is my story. Nothing dangerous, but very creepy. I was living in Salem, Massachusetts a few years ago, and although I believe in ghosts 100%, I was still a skeptic on Ouija boards and Wicca. Interested, but skeptical. I've lived in Mass my whole life, relatively close to Salem, so I figured it was all tourist trap stuff, and it doesn't work at all, blah blah blah. So, it was a Friday, and I'd got my paycheck and was going to the store to get some beer. I passed by the hex shop every day, but on this day, I decided to go in. I poked around for a couple of minutes and decided to get some rocks that were supposed to be lucky. I'm a poker player and a slight gambler, so I thought I'd try it out. So, anyway, I go get my beer and I thought I'd get a scratch ticket too. Bam, $500. Cash it, got another scratch ticket, hit another $500. Then, one more ticket that hits for $100. My mind was blown. I didn't even think about the rocks till I got home and found them. I told my girlfriend about it and she couldn't believe it either. Anyway, a week goes by and I've barely touched the money, so I thought I'd spend some. I figured Salem is a very old town and a lot of historical stuff happened there, so I might as well try a Ouija board because in my mind the rocks worked, so why wouldn't this? I go back to the hex shop and I look around again and come across a handmade, hand-painted, beautiful Ouija board, blessed by the witch who made it. It cost $200, but hey, go big or go home. So I went home with the Ouija board. My apartment was small, a tiny studio apartment that cost an arm and a leg. We were on the second floor, right in the centre of Salem. Almost every night there was a fight going on upstairs. A guy and his girlfriend screaming and throwing stuff around, to the point where I almost called the police multiple times. I never once went up to talk to them. In fact, in the year I lived there, I never went up to the third floor. Other than that, the neighbours weren't bad. So, anyway, I had the day off one day and my girlfriend was at work, so I thought I'd try the board. It wasn't too long into the session when I started talking to a man named Roy. I was amazed that this was working. I asked him simple questions at first. Do you know where we are? Salem, he replied. Do you know my name? Mike, answered right away again. I'm thrilled and creeped out all at the same time. How many spirits are in this building? 4, he said. Who is always fighting upstairs? No answer. Who lives in the room above us? Nobody. I broke out in a cold sweat, feeling uneasy for the first time in this whole conversation with Roy. I asked, who do I hear fighting all the time up there? After half a minute I got a reply, get out. I instantly jumped to the planchette to goodbye and I put the thing away. I went out for some air and then my girlfriend came home from work. I told her about what happened and she didn't believe me. I told her the same story I'm telling you now. After dinner, we're watching TV and of course here is the screaming and smashing sounds from upstairs again. I look at her and say, you know what? You're right, there has got to be people up there. So, we go upstairs. When you go through the doorway from the stairs, the apartment is directly to the right. The door is cracked open. Empty space. An empty room. I'm baffled. My mind is going in circles. I look back inside and then back at my girlfriend. Then I look down. The doormat says, get out. And that is all he wrote. That's his story. I guess both of these were pretty creepy, but not exactly hair-raising for me personally, and I don't know if that's because I've read so many different stories, but what did you guys think of these 2 stories? Did it creep you out? Did you get chills down your spine? Well, if you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share with your friends, and let me know what stories you want to hear for Spooky Sundays. If you've got any suggestions, leave it in the comments below. As always, I'm sending nothing but love and positivity your way, and until next time, bye!